Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Capcan and this is a build guide on a Deadeye lightning arrow that is a very popular skill currently in Necropolis League. It will give you an ability to very quickly farm all the tier 16s or tier 17s that you need. It has quite good AoE damage. It is not a boss killing build by any means. It is not for you to kill the Ubers with, but it is a very reliable, fast and smooth mapper that it has been popular for the recent many leagues already, and this was a quick showcase of the gameplay for the build. Now let's go for the, as you can see here, enemies evaporate quite fast. Now let's go for the PoB and let's talk a little bit about the build itself. So as you can see here, the DPS is quite okay, the survivability is quite okay too, and the main reason for this build is that because it is very fast and very good at clearing, that's why you may want to have it. So it is a very standard-ish lightning arrow build. On the talent tree you want to take as much projectile, bows, damage and crit strike nodes, in general crit strike nodes, spell suppression, just in general elemental damage, mana reservation, efficiency, and then we go for some additional specificities, like in here with Lionized Fall. Melee and melee weapon type modifiers in radius are transformed to bow modifiers, and then we're taking this dagger and this claw talents that are very juicy. We do have leech, we do have some leech being instant. Here we are using Thread of Hope with large radius so that we can take all the talents without the need of taking the small talents that lead up to them, as you can see here, for additional pierces, for additional projectiles and stuff like that. And yeah, that's in general it. You can look up the talent tree yourself on the PoB. Now when it comes to the skills, we are actively using Vol Lightning Arrow and Artillery Ballista. So Vol Lightning Arrow of Electrocution here, Inspiration, ally damage with attacks, Trinity, returning projectiles and increased critical damage, because we do want to have as high crit strike multiplier as possible. And then with Artillery Ballista, that is our boss killer, our single target helper. Even though we do have Vol version of Lightning Arrow, we do have Inspiration, Ally Focus, Focused Ballista, ally damage with attacks and increased critical damage. Then we are using Berserk with Sniper's Mark, Automation and Vol Molten Shell. The dash, as you can get any preferable blink skill. We do use Precision, Anger and Determination, and then we do have our Mana Forge auto out of like bow scale part of our build with Frenzy and Ensnaring Arrow and Power Charge on crit. This way we will generate ourselves as you can see here, Frenzy generates us a Frenzy Charge, and with Power Charge on crit we generate Power Charges, and Ensnaring Arrow is just an additional utility. With items then we are looking for a very high base crit strike chance bow with high attack speed and as high ally DPS as possible. With Quiver, it's just bow attacks, fire and additional damage, and otherwise all the crit strike, bow damage, life, defenses nodes that you can have there. You do have some additional accuracy on your helmet, or you do need to have as high evasion rating as possible, and some otherwise basic defensive stats. High Retire is a very reliable chest piece for that people use quite often for all the elemental bow builds. It gives us a lot of flat cold damage to bow attacks, suppression, and pretty a lot of evasion rating, I would say. Then with gloves, we do generate rage this way, as our implicit on gloves. Otherwise just attributes, resistances, some additional rarity if you want to. and that's mostly it. With boots, you need to have as high movement speed, otherwise pretty regular stats. As amulet, we're using Yoke of Suffering, which gives you enemies take 5% increased damage for each type of ailment you have inflicted on them. Your elemental damage can shock, and just in general, this is very good for us to ramp our damage dealt to enemies. With all the types of ailments being on them, it will be a very powerful addition to the build, though you don't really necessarily need it for your build to function. We allocate high voltage with our anointment. Then as our ring, the taming is one of the most popular choices for rings for these types of characters too. It gives us a lot of to all elemental resistances, a lot of elemental damage, and yeah, some additional chance to shock, ignite, and do all that stuff. Then opal ring, or just in general, the second ring that you want to have should have some non-channeling skills, having to minus to total mana cost for you to be able to use your lightning arrow quite easily, because we don't have as much mana unreserved. And then otherwise just attributes and life, chaos, res, all that good stuff. With belt, it is quite similar to everything else. Stygian Vice is preferred, as you can slot some additional jewels in there, get some additional offensive stats with jewels. But yeah, some other base types will be pretty okay too. Then we are using Divine Life Flask with Corrupt Blood and immunity to bleeding, Quicksilver, Jade, Diamond, and Granite Flask. You don't have that much armor, but it still helps to have it. And then, yeah, with our jewels, we've already saw that thing, and this is mostly it. It is quite it is a very powerful archetype and a build, and there's a lot of guides for this. But if you wanted to hear it from me, then there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good time. Bye.